Well, good morning. Good morning and welcome to Wednesday, July 27th. Welcome to a wonderful, wonderful day. Hope everybody's looking forward to a fantastical day. And I know I'm looking forward to a great day, so I hope you guys are too. Y'all know the drill. Let me know you are here. Good morning, Carrie. As you guys start to get in here, we'll get going. Hope I saw that Carrie, you guys are doing some work at the Georgia Mountain Food Bank. Good morning, Michelle. How are you? Everybody, come on in. Come on in. Looking forward to a great day. Travel day today. Headed back to Tennessee this morning. Getting in a quick turnaround up there and headed back down here. I don't know what this is going to look like for me the next 4 or 5 days, but it's all going to be good. So who else is here? Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Looking forward to spending some time with y'all. And I don't know, do you guys want to go back to 6:30 Eastern as we get into, with that extra 15 minutes earlier, make it easier for everybody? Is that harder for everybody? I just was thinking about this morning that maybe we go back to 6:30 Eastern and get those 15 minutes back as we get into school. What do y'all think, Carrie and Michelle? Okay. What do you think, Michelle? Carrie said she's good either way. Well, I'm hoping we get more people here. Let's see. I'm going to either just have to be off by about 7:20 when school starts. Okay. Yeah. So maybe we start a little bit early. I know everybody's got to get kids to school and maybe they get them out the door or whatever. So maybe we'll look at adding going a little 15 minutes early and seeing what that looks like. So I know Anna's up. She told everybody good morning. So I'm not sure where she is. So you guys, I'm going to shoot a text out and let everybody know that we're on the call. Only you guys are here right now. Y'all all got on us because we weren't being consistent. Now I'm trying to be consistent the last couple of days, and you guys are all late getting here. You're kind of playing. You're turning the tables on us. My, how the turns have tabled. So this morning, y'all saw the title of this morning, and that message was from Steve Morris yesterday. That message was from those text messages that he sends every day, and it said really, really, really simply, never underestimate the power of your desire and consistency. And it's right along with what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks is the consistency, is doing the small things every single day, doing those things. Good morning, Anna. Doing those small things consistently every single day, doing the little things that sometimes go unnoticed consistently every single day to achieve the big results. I started talking about back in the middle of July. Good morning, Alex. Started talking about Tammy Bunnell's 6-week action plan. Started talking about, mentioned that in the meeting, and I've kind of been harping on that. I think I'm going to continue to stay on that theme because I think there's something to this consistency. There's something to, and after reading Embrace the Suck, after reading, I'm reading John Maxwell's book, The Leader's Greatest Return. This one was introduced to me by Lori Muller and Bob McKinnon. They're doing a class on leadership because, of course, Bob McKinnon's our director of leadership with Exit. And so they were introducing this book. So now I'm going through this book of the leader's greatest return, and how to maximize leadership, and how to create leaders, which is what we're in the business of doing. We are in the business of Christy and I are in the business of creating leaders. We feel like we are doing a pretty bang up job, because I mean, just looking at the people here, Alex and Anna, Michelle and Carrie. You guys have stepped into leadership roles, and you guys have stepped up to the plate and taken the bull by the horns, and all the other analogies, the bull by the horns and the horse by the reins. And I mean, you really have stepped up and taken a leadership role. And if I look at our roster of agents, the lion's share of those agents have all taken this leadership role. And one of the things, and I believe this from, gosh, years and years and years ago, even before Christy and I met, I believe this, that all of us have this divine spark. We all have this divine thing that we've been born with. We all have this thing that God has created us to be. We all have this thing that God has created us to do. And our job in life, and our job in this journey, and walk around this planet is to find out what that is, and then go help other people find themselves. Because the whole point of community, the whole point of church, the whole point of life is to help the other person get better, be better, and do better. I believe. You may have your own beliefs, but I believe that our journey and our path on this planet is to help other people, one, get aligned with who we are, what we're supposed to do, and then go do it. And then as we go do that, we drop those pebbles in the water, and those ripples go out, and you're helping the people around you, and that process just multiplies and duplicates. And I truly believe that. And I believe at Exit Realty Lake Country, I think Christy and I, when we met, we both shared that same opinion. I mean, the whole reason she stopped selling real estate is because she believed that all the things that she was doing weren't just for her, that all that experience, all those transactions, all the ups and downs, all the things she had been through in the real estate business weren't just for her. And so her desire was to help other people be better. Sometimes, and so I'm gonna go back to what Steve Morris said. Never underestimate the power of your desire and consistency. Never underestimate the power your desire has. So my question is, do you know what that desire is? Because those desires, it's like what I talked about yesterday and being in this house. Those desires are comfortable for you. Those desires are things that you can think about, things that you can ponder, things that you can sit with, and you can easily put yourself in the situation. I could easily put myself in the situation of living in this house. Now, I couldn't have done that 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, but where I was 2 years ago, I could easily put myself in this house. And even though there weren't physical conditions that supported that desire, even though there wasn't money in the bank, and even though we weren't in a position in a business or as a company to do those, to have it, the desire was there, and that desire was comfortable. God gives you those desires. God puts those dreams and desires in your heart. Those things are divinely inspired, divinely given to you. But do you sit with your desires? That was part of that 6-week action plan, is to take some time during the middle of the week and sit with those dreams, sit with those desires, review those things, review your dreams, review your desires, review the things that God has placed on your heart to go do. God has placed on your heart to have. God has placed on your heart to be in that situation. Are you doing that? Are you sitting with your desire? Do you journal those things? Do you write them down on paper? Because affirmations are really, really good. They're fantastic. And I really believe that affirmations are kind of like the precipice. They're kind of like the doorway that you walk through. Once you start consistently doing affirmations, those affirmations reveal the desires of your heart. They tap into who you are, what you're supposed to do, who you're supposed to be doing it for. I truly believe that. Um, Good morning, Vanessa. How are you? Vanessa's here. Good morning. So, are you sitting with your desires? Do you really know the desires of your heart? Do you really know the desires of your soul, the desires of your spirit? Do you really know what rests way deep down inside here? Are you able to uncover those? Because I promise you, part of the conversation yesterday, the desire created the reality. The desire was the match that lit the fuse to cause this thing to explode. Never underestimate the power of your desires. Never underestimate the power of your desires. But so many of us, y'all have heard me talk about this. So many of us in some part of our life, we've been told to stop being a dreamer. Y'all, I'm gonna have to get a power cord just a little bit, but I'm gonna keep talking. At some point in your life, you've had an adult, an authority figure, somebody who you respected told you stop dreaming. Most of us equate dreaming with desires. And we get into this place of if I can't see it, feel it, touch it, hear it, smell it, those five senses, then it doesn't exist. And I'm here to tell you and challenge you that that's not true. That's not true. Because just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And just because you can't smell it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Just because you can't taste it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in your experience if you can't do those things. It doesn't exist presently where you are and in your walk if you can't put your five senses around it, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist because it does exist. I didn't live in this house, but this house still existed. Years and years and years ago, this house existed. And I don't know if y'all have heard the whole story about this thing. I mean, this house has been woven into, and I'm harping on this because it's such a present reminder of how of this working. It's such a present reminder of God giving you the desires of your heart. When you focus your intention, when you focus when you're consistent in your intention, when you're consistent in your thought patterns, when you're consistent in your beliefs, when you're consistent in your desires, and those two things merge, magic happens. Magic happens. So I want to impress on you to focus. I mean, weekly. Take some time. If you're not doing it every single day, y'all. I'm gonna show you something real quick. Back during COVID, if y'all remember, back during COVID, Exit and everything was shut down. Exit did a stimulus package. They did an agent stimulus package, and they gave away tons and tons of Exit tools. They gave away tons and tons of things for Exit agents, right? They didn't lay anybody off. They didn't send anybody home. They didn't pull the reins. They didn't send people notices that they were being let go. They didn't do any of those things. They poured into agents. Okay. They poured into us, right? I'm gonna have to get a power cord. Y'all give me 2 seconds before I get on this next thing. I don't want to run out of power. All right. Sorry about that. I had to run downstairs and grab an extension cord. It's the only place I knew there was an extension cord. So I had that little break. Y'all been sitting here stewing and either hopefully paying attention and thinking about what we've been saying. So give me some thoughts. What are your thoughts about what we've talked about so far? Just type them in the comments. Give me your thoughts about what I've talked about so far. This is the interactive part of the presentation. Type in some thoughts. Type in the comments, please. Anyone? We have dead air. Anybody typing? Maybe I'll type slow. I'm looking. Nothing? No comments? No thoughts? Okay. So as I was saying before, I went ahead to go get in my extension cord. During COVID, exit. There we go. Carrie said, love it. I can look back at my greatest successes, and it came from really focusing on that dream. Love that. Oh, somebody's driving. It must be Anna. Anna's driving. No, Vanessa's driving. Don't type when you drive, Anna or Vanessa. You don't get a ticket. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. So back to what I was saying. If somebody else is typing, we'll read it when I'll stop and read it when it posts. But if you remember, during COVID, during the shutdown, Exit did a stimulus package, which was different than every other company. Compass, every other real estate company was laying people off. They were shutting things back. They were pulling the reins back. They were trying to conserve money. And Exit gave away stuff for free. All the coaches, all the trainers, some of the executive staff at Exit all said, hey, we'll give our time. We'll train. We'll do more. Well, one of the things that was done, Susan Harrison did a dream coaching. She did a dream coaching session. And so this is a book that I have that I write in. And one of the things that she said to do, and part of one of the first sessions that she had, was write down 100 dreams. And you can see I've scratched, I've gone through, and I've done some things. But I went through and wrote down, starting right there, 100 dreams, 100 things that I would like to have happen, 100 dreams, wrote it down. Y'all know that writing, there's power in the written word, okay? There's power in writing down your desires and writing down your dreams and writing down your goals, writing your affirmations, writing what you want. There is power in the written word, and we've so gotten away from paper and pen because we got into text. We've gotten into voice texting. We do all those other things, but there's power in the written word. Just like Alex, some of you still write your handwritten notes, and you're doing that consistently. There's power in the written word. Paper and pen. Write down. I challenge you. Go back into the Exit Resource Center. Go back into the Aspire, ASPIRE. Go back into the Aspire coaching platform and watch Susan Harrison's dream coaching. And do the 4 or 5 sessions that she had. And I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing, because you're going to tap into your desire. You're going to tap into those things that God's given you that have been divinely inspired in you, the things that you want to go do. You're going to tap into that. And once you tap into that, those things start to bubble up in you. One of my dreams, and I'm remembering this now because this is going to happen here pretty soon. But one of my dreams and desires, I was a huge baseball guy. I played baseball in college. Loved baseball. Absolutely loved baseball. But I'd never been to a Major League Baseball game until that was probably 2012, maybe 2013. I went to a Colorado Rockies game. I was working for RE/MAX, and I was selling franchises for RE/MAX. And then we had some time. So I went to a Colorado Rockies game, actually called a foul ball. Now, y'all, I've been with the Nashville Sounds. Nashville has got a AAA team. It's been affiliated with just about every team in the major leagues. And I've been going there since I was 5 or 6 years old. And never one time. in some of these games, there'd only be like 15 or 20 people there. I mean, some of the times that there was nobody there, and never called a foul ball. I laugh about that all the time because I never called a foul ball. I always wanted to catch a foul ball. Every kid wants to catch a foul ball at a baseball stadium, but I never caught a ball. Never caught a home run ball. Never caught a foul ball. In all the years I've been in Nashville Sounds game. I went to the Colorado Rockies game. Again, it was 2012, 2013. And I get there, and we're sitting on the third base, and we went and bought tickets, rode the train to Denver, downtown Denver, went to the game, bought tickets, went to the go in and get a beer, get some sunflower seeds and some peanuts, and I'm headed to my seat. I'm walking down the third base line. So we're on first base line. We're on the first base side, walking down to the seats. We're probably 18, 20 rows up. As we're walking to the seats, we walk down the aisle, we start making our way to our seats, and I'm watching there, and it's in the middle of an at-bat. And I'm watching the at-bat, and I hear the crack of the bat, and I look up, and it's a foul ball. Okay? And I'm like, man, that ball's headed right at us. And y'all, that ball ended up right in my chest. Right here, right in the middle. I caught it right against my body because I kept my sunflower seeds and my peanuts and my beer. Didn't spill anything. Caught the ball against my chest. You know if you've ever been to a Major League Baseball game and you catch the foul ball and you actually catch it, and when you raise it up in the air, the place goes nuts. I probably made SportsCenter top 10 with that play. It was absolutely I hadn't even sat down in my seat yet. I was walking down the aisle to my seat, beer, peanuts, and sunflower seeds, and a beer. And he hits it, and I'm like, man, that ball's coming right at us. It's coming right at me. Oh my gosh, it's coming at me. And I just turn and catch it against my chest like a football. Lift it up, place goes nuts. This is a little story, but it's pretty funny. But one of the dreams that I have in my dream journal that I wrote down in that 100 dreams is to watch a baseball game in every single Major League Baseball field. To watch a baseball game in every single park, in every single Major League city. That's one of my dreams. So I've been to Truist to see the Braves. I've been to the Rockies. And then Christy and I, in September, are going to watch the Red Sox and Yankees at Fenway Park. So there's 3. Dreams, desires. It doesn't all happen at once. It doesn't all flow all one time. But I'm checking my dreams off my dream list. I'm checking these things off my boxes. One of my dreams is to go to Ireland. We may end up going to Ireland next year, and I get to play golf in Ireland. I don't know, but there's a trip planned at Cuscowilla. Carrie, it is, man. That was so cool. And I still got that foul ball. When you come to my office in Mount Juliet, that foul ball, I still have it. I cherish it. That foul ball is sitting on my shelf. By the year I coached Mount Juliet high school baseball team, it's right there. And then I've had another coaching picture that I get the ball sitting right on top of my shelf. I'll never lose that baseball, ever, not ever. So it was super, super special, super, super cool. But here's my point. God will give you the desires of your heart if these things are in conjunction, okay? We ask not, or we have not because we ask not. But then it also said God will give you the desires of your heart. So those two things seem to be contradictory, that we have not because we ask not, and God will give us the desires of our heart. And I believe, this is just Aaron Dwyer, I believe we have not because we ask not. God has given us our dreams and desires, but then we put them to the side, and we stop believing that we can have those desires. Never underestimate the power of your desire. Never underestimate the power of what God has given you to do. God has given you to have. God has given you to share. Never underestimate that. There's so much power in those God-given desires. There's so much joy. There's so much peace. There's so much happiness to be given and to be shared in the desires that God gives you. Last night, just for instance, I'm going to go back to this house. I keep harping on this, and I apologize. But I go back to last night, Christy's birthday. I make reservations for us to go to Anderson, to go to a restaurant called Sullivan's, which is absolutely delicious up in Anderson. Beautiful, nice restaurant, kind of a higher end restaurant. We're all going to go eat dinner. Somehow and I've got to get this fixed, but somehow my Yelp notifications go to Christy's phone as well. So Christy sends me a text message and says, "We're not going to dinner tonight, by the way. You and Carson are going to cook at home, and Logan and Maggie are going to come over with Halson." When I look at what this dream, this desire, the fruition of that desire is, which is this house, and I watched last night, I walk in the door and Logan's here and Maggie's here and Halson's here and Zeke is here and Carson's here and me and Cade walk in the door. Mama's here, Laney's here. I know they're in a gift. They're in a gift I could buy. There's not an amount of money that I could spend that would have made Christy any happier than what she was last night. This house, this desire, this dream opens up doors for so many other things. It creates opportunities for so many other things. That's why you got to tap into your desire. That's why you got to tap into your dreams. That's why you got to tap into what you've been given by God to go do. That's why you got to spend time doing that. Family is everything, Michelle. It's everything. And I'm not saying we couldn't have had the same thing at Saliba, but I can promise you this house means so much to this family. It means so much to everybody. It means so much to everyone around us that's why this dream and desire was so important. So never underestimate the power of your desires. Never underestimate the power of your dreams. Never underestimate the power of those things, okay? Because they create opportunities for other things. The other piece of that is never underestimate the power of consistency. Never underestimate the power of doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Being with your desires, sitting with your intentions, doing your affirmations, doing the things in your business consistently over time. Never underestimate the power of consistency. What are you doing right now? What are you not doing right now that you need to be more consistent? Those of you who aren't driving, who can type, I want you to type in your comments. Type in the comments, what are you doing right now that you're just not as consistent as you should be? You feel like you're not as consistent as you should be. You're not doing it as much as you should. You're not, it's not a priority for you. Type that in there. Because we're gonna expose that. We're gonna be accountable to each other this morning. We're gonna share with each other what that is. What are you not consistent? What are you not doing? What should you be doing more?
Okay, I heard my name a while ago. Did you say Mama was here?
Following up, okay? Making quality calls. Ooh, quality calls. So you're qualifying that, okay? So Michelle's not following up consistently enough. Quality calls for Carrie. Who else? What are you not being consistent at? And those are two big things. Because following up, Michelle, you know this, and this is something that is so calling my sphere, okay? Calling my sphere. So let me say this. Alex, because your personality is an S personality, sometimes calling your sphere can be uncomfortable because the last thing an S wants to do is to make somebody else uncomfortable. The last thing an S wants to do is make somebody else feel like to feel any way other than great, right? So S's want to make sure that everybody else feels okay before they're okay, right? They use other people's joy to help them be happy. You're really good at writing letters. If you listen to Brian Buffini, if you listen to what Kia Assad said, I would say to you, Alex, instead of calling your sphere, if you call your sphere, just ask them for their address. Okay? Ask them for a correct home address. If you already know their address, send them something in the mail. Send them a little handwritten card. Hey, just thinking about you. Hope everything's great. Put it in the mail. Hey, just thinking about you. Hope everything's wonderful. Put it in the mail. Don't worry about calling them, because really with your sphere, you're just dropping seeds, right? You're just dropping seeds. So for you, Alex, I would take some of that pressure off you, right? Do what you love to do, which is writing those cards that you write, and send those to your sphere. And you can use the phone call to make sure you have their correct information. Hey, I want to send you a little something. Everybody loves getting something. And then we have let's see. Okay, follow it up. Michelle, your personality, if you set yourself a goal, you'll go do it because you're a D. D's just go do it because that's what they do. You need to follow your to-do list. You need to get into Boomtown, follow your to-do list. And when it says you need to call somebody at 11 a.m., you need to call them at 11 a.m. When it says you need to send them an email, send them an email. You need to follow your to-do list, okay? But start doing it consistently. If you'll start little by little, okay? Have your to-do list and knock off 5 things off your to-do list. Knock 4 things off your to-do list today. You'll start to build some momentum that you'll start following your to-do list. Again, this goes back to what we talked about. That's what's so hard, because I don't think you have I really honestly, I don't think you have a problem with following up consistently. I think your consistent issue or your consistency issue is probably more of a time blocking issue, because you have not set time aside to follow up. And so I know you love a list. I've seen your book. You don't have time set aside for follow-up. You need to have a block of time in your day set aside for follow-up. And that follow-up is going to be different. You're going to follow up with some people by phone, some by email, some you'll send a letter to, some you'll send a card to, some you'll shoot a video text to. But you need to have a time set aside where you're following up with these people. Remember, go back to Buffini, go back to the basics, A, B, and C list of your people. Those A's, right? Those A's need to be focused on, right? The B's get a phone call or a text message or something every now and again. The C's once a month, right? Go back to basics. This business and what we do in life, y'all, this life is pretty easy. We try to make it so super complicated, and it's not. It's super, super simple. It's just consistency. Carrie, making quality calls. I tell you, if anybody on this planet can make quality calls, Carrie Leland, it's you, because you do such a fantastic job of knowing what people like and knowing what other people want, that a little bit of, you make snickerdoodles for somebody that loves snickerdoodles. You don't ever send chocolate chip cookies to somebody who doesn't like chocolate chip cookies. So if you spend some time trying to figure out what that person likes and maybe what their personality is, y'all, don't underestimate the power of the personality training that y'all get. Don't underestimate that power. You know what other people are. You know what they like and what they do and what they want, and then work in that to share with them, work in that to make those calls. Because a quality phone call, maybe, I don't know what, and maybe you're qualifying the quality a little differently, but a quality phone call is when something beneficial comes out of that call, right? And something beneficial could be, hey, thinking about you. Hey, you got this market update. Hey, saw that your son got married. Hey, I saw that, whatever. Those are quality phone calls. Again, this business is relationships. Relationships take time to build. It's not your job to make the corn grow. It's just your job to put the seeds in the ground. And then you tend to the seed. You do a little watering, you do a little tending, you clear out some weeds, and then you let God go do what God does, which is turn corn seeds into corn. Okay? That's the same thing this business is. You just got to go plant seeds. You got to go put them in the ground. You got to tend to them. You got to weed them. You got to water. You got to do all those things that you do. And you just let the relationship be what it's going to be and let it come out like it's going to come out. Because a lot of times what we believe or what we think should happen isn't even close to what God's got in store for you. And what we think is the outcome, not even close to what God has in store, because we don't see everything like he sees it. We don't see everything from this perspective. We see everything from this perspective. Okay. So don't underestimate the power of your desire and consistency. Okay. That's why the 6-week action plan is so important. That's why your dirty dozen is so important. That's why all the things that we tell you guys over and over and over again are so important. You just got to go do them. And you got to crawl before you walk. And you got to walk before you run. You got to do the little things before you can do the big things. Crawl, walk, run. One of the things I learned in Embrace the Suck is you learn to crawl. So, Navy SEALs, they do a lot of big time stuff. They blow stuff up. They jump out of stuff. They do some really cool things. But one thing that they do consistently is train. They train like Christy says to train. They train so they don't get it wrong. They train so much. They do the same thing over and over and over again. They are running through scenarios. They're doing all the mock-ups. They're practicing their movements. They have everybody doing everything they need to do in unison so many times so they can't get it wrong. What if you were so consistent in your business that you couldn't get it wrong? What if you were so consistent in your business that there was nothing that fell through the cracks? What if you were so consistent in your business that you took your conversion ratio from 10 or 11% to 30 or 40%? Imagine if you talked to 10 people, and out of those 10 people, instead of converting one into a client, you converted 4 or 5. What if you were so consistent you can convert 6 or 7? What if you went to every listing appointment knowing you were going to get the listing? Because you were so consistent, you've practiced so much, there's no way you can get it wrong. Now, every now and again, you go to a listing appointment where there's somebody that's a complete idiot, but that sometimes happens. But what if you were so consistent that you couldn't get it wrong? The Navy SEALs understand Murphy's Law. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong. A helicopter is going to crash. Somebody's going to fall out of a helicopter and break their leg. Your team leader is going to get his arm smashed in a door jumping out of a car. They're doing stuff in pitch black and going really fast and shooting real bullets, and real things happen. So Murphy's Law is if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. And they understand that. But they train so much, so consistently, so many times doing it over and over and over again, they can't get it wrong. So then it's just muscle memory. You do things right now out of muscle memory because you consistently did it over and over and over again, over and over and over again, over and driving a car. I'm thinking right now of the time when I was 15 or 16 years old. I learned how to drive a stick shift. So I learned how to drive a standard transmission. That was my first vehicle, a red Toyota pickup truck with a 5-speed, no air, pleather seats, vinyl seats, hot. Oh my gosh, it was the worst, best car ever. And I remember having to drive. I'll never. The steering wheel was like this big. It felt like it was an 18-wheeler steering wheel. It was huge, and I'll never forget having to think about shifting from first to second, and second to third, and third to fourth, and finally getting it to fifth gear, and how I had to think about the clutch and the gas and shifting gears and all those kinds of things. To the point that we were driving down Stewart's Ferry Pike one day, and I was grinding the gears trying to find them. And as I'm looking down to try to figure out where third gear was, I veered off the road, and my dad grabs the steering wheel and yells at me and says, "You can't think about this. You just got to do it. You can't think about this, Aaron. You just got to do it." And his voice is booming inside this little bitty truck that's like this big. Of course, my heart's racing, and I now know how Cade feels when I'm in the car with him and he's all freaking out, when I was trying to teach him how to drive. I get it now. But now I can drive that same stick shift and never even think about it. Never even look down. I just know where things are. I know how to do the gears. I know how to shift the gears. It's the same thing. You guys were the same way. When you were first driving, you had to think about where the turn signal was and how far do I turn, and can I get out of this? Can I get out right now? And is there enough room for me to get out in traffic? And all the things you think about, where now you can almost drive with your eyes closed. It's just muscle memory. Now it's just you get in the car, You back it out and you just go, right? You just take off because you've done it consistently over and over and over again. You've done it so many times that you can't get it wrong. Murphy's Law happens. Sometimes sometimes bad stuff happens even in spite of our best efforts, bad things happen. But imagine if your real estate business, imagine if your follow-up, imagine if your life was done so consistently, so on point, so 1, 2, 3, all the time. You had your desires in your heart. You knew exactly where you were going. You had your affirmations. You had your intentions. You had your vision. You knew exactly what you were going to do. You had things written down. Every single day, you consistently worked toward that. Every single day, you consistently did the things that it was going to take to achieve those things. What if every single day you consistently moved in the direction of your dreams and desires? What if every single day you moved in the direction of your dreams and your desires? What if every single day, to use the embrace the suck model, what if every single day you were so laser focused on an outcome that you could time block your calendar to do what needed to be done to get to that one thing? How much different would your life be? How much different would this experience be for you? How many more lives could you touch? How many more lives could you change if you're the best version of you, consistently going after your dreams and desires? How many people could you help? How many pebbles could you drop in the water? How many ripples could you create? How far would your reach go? Never underestimate the power of your desire and consistency. Never underestimate working so hard on something that you can't get it wrong. Never underestimate that. There's power in consistency, and there's power in your desire. Anybody have anything? I think I'm going to let you guys go this morning. I want you to sit after this call. I want you to sit and think about, again, Alex, calling your sphere. How can you reach out to your sphere? Carrie, how can you change the quality of your calls? How could you make phone calls where you feel like you're doing exactly what Carrie Leland ought to be doing? Michelle, how can you set that time block aside? Make your list to your follow-up. Make your list your to-do list to follow up with your A's, follow up with your B's, and follow up with your C's. Because again, if it's not consistent, if you're doing it haphazardly, there's no reason to stop and do it. Because if you have consistently over time gotten in the habit of getting to it if you get to it, not doing it if you don't have to do it, or not just blowing by it if you need to blow by because there are other things that are more important. If that's been your consistent thought pattern, if that's been your consistent behavior pattern, then again, start small. Crawl, walk, and then run. Okay? But I want you to work on this today. All of you on this call, there are huge dreams and desires that you've been given. There is huge impact that you need to make on this world. There are huge things that you can do to the world around you that Christy and I can't do. All we can do is pour into you. All we can do is pour our love and our light, pour everything we have into you, and then let you go pour into the circles that you have. Pour to the circles that you're in. Go change the world that's around you. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. I will be in Tennessee, I think, in the morning. So it'll be early. So we'll go back, I guess, we'll do that first week of August. We'll start the first week of August going back to 6:30 Eastern. But love y'all, mean it. Be good, be great, be you. Hopefully we'll see some of you guys really, really soon, and have an awesome Wednesday. Bye y'all.